Oh, we're now live. I didn't get a warning. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go again. Early start. We're off to the races.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
And now for Pucks and Pints. Brought to you by Jimmy's Sports Lounge in Kingston, Ontario.
The fastest 60 minutes on ice. Pucks and Pints Radio.
He shoots and scores.
The greatest goal scorer in National Hockey League history. It's Wayne Gretzky.
It's hockey time. Here are your hosts, the Big B, Coach K, and Bacon.
The waiting is over. You believe in miracles? Yes.
And now for Pucks and Pints.
Wow, big crowd out there to start the show. Make sure you say hi to us in chat and let us know who you are. Great to be here. My name's Coach K. It's the most fun time of the year. Well, not quite, but we're getting very close to it, ladies and gentlemen. And we're here to break it all down for you. Jay Vegas and his picks of the week after he's gone, I don't know, 0-20 in the past few weeks. He's still trying to save himself. We'll see how he did last week. Mike Joel at Sports Minute and all the fun stuff. We got a hot seat. We got the race to the cup. And, of course, our first segment coming up in just a second. But any of you outside of Canada may not know the significance of this, but I was scrolling through my news feed at home before we came on air. Tim and Friends is coming to an end. Big show on Sportsnet in Canada.
Really?
Ladies and gentlemen, not just hockey, baseball, football, just a Canadian-centric sports guy who's an entertainer. He gets the biggest guests on, the biggest people from the world of hockey. I love him to death. He's moving on to a new project. His partner Sid left him in the middle of the pandemic, and he saved the show for 2 more years. But it is over April 11th. All right.
Yeah, that's gonna suck. They're a good watch.
Yeah, they're fun, right? They're just a fun sports show. They get a lot of good, but they have a lot of good insight. The guy's not dumb. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's kick things off. We got a lot to talk about. As always, it's time for...
Now, it's Bacon's Craft Brew Review. Brought to you by Locker Room Lager.
Yeah, Bacon, don't forget to hit that.
Yes, it is.
Oh, that was weird.
That was really weird.
Yeah. Are you there, Bacon?
All right. Well, yeah, I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Okay. Well, I was just going to pimp this up, but if you want to do it.
Yeah, I was going to say the Crab You by Lager, drinking that on tap tonight. Remember, if you go out and purchase from the use promo code Pucks and Pints, at $5 off your order. And they do direct delivery. So if you order it quickly, it gets even quicker. Big B, to answer your question from last week, I heard back, and they do not ship to the U.S. as of yet.
Boo.
We got to get this going because Jimmy's getting it at Jimmy's Sports Bar. Folks, just an easier way to order. Go to pucksandpintsradio.com. That's pucksandpintsradio.com. We got a big display there. You just click on the link, use Pucks and Pints, $5 off your first order. I'm enjoying my last one, so I'm going to need to order some real soon. and I owe Bacon 6. So, what do you got tonight, brother?
So, we're
losing him.
He has some issues. First of all, I think there's a delay on his side, and yeah, his internet's going in and out very badly.
Are you there, Bacon? You might want to leave and come back in.
Reestablish your Wi-Fi connection.
Yeah, reestablish your Wi-Fi. We have him frozen on screen, ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen. I'm gonna pull him up because I'm sure he's got lots of great stuff to say. He's probably drinking some kind of, like orange cider or
something infused with beets and caramel apples.
you know it. You know it. Anyway, I know you're drinking your usual. I do have my last one here of the Locker Room Lager, and I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah, well, I did hear him before he completely fell off that they do not ship to New York or the United States, I guess. So I will wait on that.
Like if I got some and tried to ship them, would it be allowed?
I had Stu ship me a special bottle of wine that could only be found in England. I asked him to pick it up for me. I paid for it and paid for the shipping, and he shipped it to me. We didn't have an issue. I'm sure he didn't say that it was alcohol in the shipping manifest.
Right. You've got to go incognito.
Right. But we have done it in the past.
All right. Listen, I'm going to pull this off for now. Like last week, we're going to hide this away, ladies and gentlemen. Poor Bacon, he's not having the best of luck lately in anything that he does. As we said with the fantasy hockey, and I did want to congratulate him as a runner-up in his hockey league, but I didn't get a chance. So you and I spoke about this. We might as well hop right into this because you're the one that's and now Stinky Lockers presents In the Hot Seat. The link over to Stinky Lockers, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, is also at pucksandpintsradio.com. Kind of another strange turn of events in Arizona.
It's crazy what this franchise has been through this season. But so apparently at the end of last week on Thursday, the Arizona Coyotes minority owner Andrew Barroway was arrested in Colorado on a domestic violence charge. He apparently got into a verbal argument with his wife that turned physical.
What was his wife? See, I didn't read that part.
Yeah, it was his wife. It says here, I'll just read from part of the story. It says the 57-year-old Barroway was arrested after a verbal altercation with his wife turned physical, according to the police report. He is prohibited from having contact with his wife except when it involves their children and can't consume alcohol under a court order. So this all happened last Thursday. Last Friday, the National Hockey League made a statement regarding it. The statement reads, the National Hockey League is aware of the arrest of Arizona Coyotes minority owner Andrew Barroway. Pending further information, he has been suspended indefinitely.
No, I heard he put her in a chokehold.
Well, that is, if I get down, I don't know if it has here. Yeah, so it says here, Barroway faces a class 4 felony charge of second-degree assault related to strangulation and a third-degree assault charge. So, yeah, he apparently, a chokehold something, he was strangling her. So, again, this happened in Colorado. At this point, we should note that, again, this is the Arizona Coyotes minority owner. He has a 5% stake in the club. He also owns a Greek soccer team. and he was the majority owner of the Arizona Coyotes, but sold the bulk of it to the current owner. And off the top of my head, I don't have it in front of me. Back in 2019, so he only has a 5% stake. He's a hedge fund analyst, and I don't think he should be involved in Arizona with the team, with the NHL, with sports at all if he's committing acts of domestic violence.
I don't mean to take you off your high horse here on the hot seat, but
We have breaking news.
of course we have breaking news. Bacon's computer is updating again.
I told him to get rid of the freaking Windows computer, get a Mac. You know, I have one for sale
Yeah,
at a real good price.
I'm fine with Windows. I just turn the updates off and update when it's convenient for me,
Right.
which is not during or before a show.
Correct.
Anyway,
I remember just on the same topic real quick. I remember when I was doing the other show, I had a Windows computer for a phone call coming in. It took 2 hours to update it. I was so pissed that day.
Yeah.
But anyway,
it's always inconvenient. But yeah,
right.
I-
So going back to this,
I realize he's a 5% owner, but like, how much bad press can you get? The visitor dressing rooms. I mean,
that was nonsense.
but there's a lot of people really excited tonight because they're going to get to see Connor McDavid in a 5,000 seat arena. I'd be losing my shit too. But like, come on, this is Bettman's baby. Okay,
Well,
they have more in retained salary than they have an actual team salary, and they're not going to win the Bedard sweepstakes, from what I heard.
they are way too far away to win it as far as the standings go. But you give the Arizona Coyotes credit. They have outperformed everybody's initial initial analysis of what they would do this year. They have vastly outperformed that. They're under 500, but not that far under 500. And going into the season, most everybody picked them to finish last. They lost their arena. They're playing in a college arena. They started the season on like some ridiculous 14-game road trip, which lasted 2 months, while the Mullet Arena was getting finished being constructed because they weren't prepared for an NHL team to play in it. So give this team credit. And I watched their game yesterday against Colorado. Down 2-0 in the third. They came back. They ultimately lost in the shootout for final score of 4-3. But down 2-0, they were getting highly outplayed through the first two periods. They came back and put up a game and almost beat Colorado. They have been playing well of late. So I give them a lot of credit.
I think they're in that death zone though. Like, come on, folks. You're either going to win or you're going to lose. And yes, Arizona's done a great job. I'll give them credit. They put on competitive games. Maybe they'll beat Edmonton tonight. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
However, you're not going to get Connor Bedard that way. San Jose is doing the best job of all. We'll talk about that later.
But let's be realistic now. Is Bacon making noises now?
Can you hear me?
Yes, you're here. Can you turn off Windows updates?
You know what? I'm about 5 seconds from throwing this computer. So I don't want to interrupt the hot seat, but this is a different computer from last week that's been on all day, anticipating this, and it decides to reboot as we start the show.
How does it reboot while you're on? See, my computer.
This one didn't even give me a notification. It just shut off.
Yeah, see, you gotta get in your. Big B is an IT guy. He'll help you.
So am I. It's not set to do that. I don't know what happened.
I have a Mac for sale for a good price.
Yes. And if you send him a case of, the locker room lager, he'll be even happier. All right, Big B, I agree with you. Embarrassing to the franchise, but they've done a great job. Are you ready to tell us what you're fucking drinking this?
I am. I went through the whole thing only to realize that I was frozen. So, staying local in Chatham, Sons of Kent again.
Well, I've tried that. I've tried that one.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Fest beer Oktoberfest. I don't know if you're an Oktoberfest fan, but it's really good. It's very reminiscent of a good German beer. And then, as always, the sponsor of the show, the Locker Room Lager. I got a couple cans of that as well.
You should jab your pen in the bottom of the Locker Room Lager and
Shoot
I
it.
think
There you
that'll
go.
make you feel better.
Shoot the beer.
I think I'm going to need something stronger than that.
Oh, poor bacon, ladies and gentlemen. Locker Room Lager at pucksandpintsradio.com. You just use the promo code Pucks and Pints, and you're going to get $5 off your order. No international shipping as of yet, but we're working on it.
Yes.
All right. Let's get into the fun stuff for your boys. It's time to play, and I don't know if a lot has changed, if we have any more answers, but we're about to find out.
16 teams enter and only one survives. It's time for the race to the cup.
Yeah, it's getting closer every day. 2 days I'm in Toronto, boys. Ready to watch that game. Where do you want to start this week? You want to start in the West? We always start in the East.
Yeah, let's start in the West. I think it's a quicker conversation.
I don't know, man. It's so complicated. Wild
Although
93, Avalanche 92, Stars 92. They're dropping, and the Avalanche have a game in hand. Knights 98, Kings 96, Oilers 91, and your wild cards are the Kraken with 88, Jets with 85, and lo and behold, the Flames are still there waiting for the Jets to just go away.
So speaking of the Kraken at 88, after recording 60 points last season, the 28-point increase that they have this year is now the largest in NHL history, largest point increase in NHL history between a franchise's first and second year.
Interesting. You should have sent that out to Colton.
Colton. Well, I got another one about Seattle as well that I was going to send to Colton because this one goes way back. Today, I guess it would be yesterday.
March.
Yesterday, March 26th, 1917, the Seattle Metropolitans defeated the Montreal Canadiens 9-1 to win the Stanley Cup, making the first American team to win the Stanley Cup.
I did not know that.
There you go.
Now, so here we are. I mean, look, phenomenal job. Ron Francis has done a phenomenal job. He's got tons of draft picks and prospects and cap room to work with over there in Seattle. He's not the bank of the NHL, as we said, Arizona and some other teams are. He's done a great job. Are they in? Looks like they're in the, pretty. They're still pretty tight. 3 points out of a regular spot, but they look like they're in pretty good for a wild card. I don't think Calgary's going to catch the Kraken. I do think they're going to catch the Jets, who are still 5-5.
Well,
Yeah, the Jets
I
are
mean,
4 points up.
but let's look at the last 10 from the 4 teams: Seattle, Winnipeg, Calgary, and Nashville. All of them in the last 10 have won 5 games. Winnipeg has lost 5 games, whereas Calgary has lost 3 in regulation and 2 in overtime. Same with Seattle. Nashville's lost 1 in overtime, 4 in regulation. There's no movement there.
2 in hand on the Jets. I think the only team, well, the Kraken and the Preds are sitting at 72. Jets and Flames at 74.
But if every single team has won 5 games, so they're all keeping pace with each other. Remember what I said a few weeks ago when they were all like 3-7 in their last 10. Nobody wants to win this. Who's ever going to lose the least amount is going to win those wild card spots. And it still holds the same, because if one loses, they all lose. If one wins, they all win. that's the way it's been going for weeks with these four
And-
slots.
It's the same in the races, right? Like Kings and Knights, they're within 2 points. Pretty big lead on the Oilers in third. Wild and Avalanche and Stars all within a point. No one, like, there's a little bit of an edge coming out in the East, which we'll see when we get over there. But the first place team is we're kind of seeing a lock.
Yeah.
Not one team has clinched a playoff spot in the West, as far as I can see.
Nobody yet.
Yeah, it's really way too close. I mean, I suppose with the exception of the Knights at 98 being 5 points up, 2 points up on the Kings, but 5 points up on the rest of the field at least. They're the only ones that you could maybe say might do it. But again, like you said, 10 games left. If they lose 6 of them, they may end up going from 1 to 3.
And I'll give credit to the top of the field here, Big B. I know you like to talk last 10. Knights 8-2, Kings 8-0-2, pointing every one of their last 10.
Yep.
I'm having a feeling this may be the team that comes in. And the Oilers 7-2-1, also very good. Wild, they're 6-1-3, still winning. Avalanche are 8-2. Everyone's been warning about them, and the Stars are slipping at 5-4-1.
Yeah, the Stars with the worst record is actually surprising to me. They were talking about, I believe it was the Kraken again on the radio, just as I was coming back from the mechanic, getting some quotes on tires, and they were saying they went through the weekend basically. They went 2-1-1. Which, with the strength of schedule, was a really good outcome for them, getting 3 points in 4 games. So they did really, really well considering.
Yeah. Well, they're a good team. And we talk again week after week after week about the very small sample size of elite goalies. And theirs is one of them. Although, what's going on in Winnipeg with Hellebuck? Like, Winnipeg or Calgary, one of them's out. And whoever's out, they're going to blow it up. And I
think it's going to be Calgary.
PM,
Yeah, I think Calgary.
players. There's players in Calgary right now that are refusing to return next year to play for Sutter.
Yeah,
Yep.
Calgary's a mess in there. I don't see them. That's going to manifest itself on the ice. I don't see them making a push to get into the playoffs. If by some chance, because like I said, nobody wants to win those wild card spots, Calgary makes it in, they get bounced very easily in the first round. They do not have the makeup to make a run in the playoffs at all.
Nor do the Kraken, nor do the Jets, nor do the Predators. So I would think that the other 6 teams fighting for that number 1 spot, I'd rather play one of those teams than the Avalanche, Wild, or Stars, and Knights, Kings, or Oilers. You know what I mean? Like, you would think that dogfight for first. Now, I heard something yesterday. I'd like to ask you guys about this. This is more of an Eastern Conference thing. But there was a big debate on NHL.com and also on Sportsnet during the Leafs game against the Predators last night about resting players and whether you think that's a good idea or a bad idea, because Boston has 3 really key injuries right now. And they're resting people. Some of the court says, yeah, you got to rest them. You want to be ready for the dance. That's the big thing. Some of the other guys are saying, no. You got to play. You got to play to be ready. Every game is meaningful.
Yeah, I think if you have some sort of I don't want to say injury, Samsonov, before he left for whatever personal reasons the last couple of games, he said he was hurt, but he's ready to go.
Well, he's having a baby.
Yes, right, exactly. And he left. He was gone all weekend, right? So
yeah.
He basically, before the game, just before that, I think it might have been Thursday night. So when they play Tuesday, Thursday, Maybe it was Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday last week. Anyway, before he left his last game, he said, "Look, I'm hurt, but I'm still playing." That's where the resting comes in for me. So you look at him and you go, okay, if we let him play, is it going to get worse? Assuming he wasn't leaving for the baby. But at the same time, I agree with the statement that you don't want to rest too long or take too many chances, because then you're not conditioned to keep on going. Because the minute round one starts, it's a different game.
Right.
Teams play harder. Teams play faster. They play with more fervency, right?
Right. And then you got the number one team who's resting all their players against a number 8 team that's been fighting for their friggin' lives for the past 2 months. And guess who's ready?
Yeah.
Especially if that number 8 team is Sorokin in that with the Islanders.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They were talking about it on NHL radio this afternoon as well. And they were just saying, look, what's the fine line? Like, do you take the chance and rest them, and then find out that, they rested too long and they're not ready for round one, but knowing that round one comes and it's a different game.
I remember last year, I don't know if you guys recall, I went to the very last game of the year, at least the home game, Boston, Toronto. I thought it might be a big game for a playoff spot. None of the big guys were playing. Neither team survived.
Yep.
Neither team survived.
Yeah, I think if you go into like the final game of the season, you've clinched a playoff spot. There's no way for you to move up or down in the standings. You've got your spot. In the final game of the season, yeah, I think you can rest players just to give them a day extra rest going into the playoffs. But if you're talking like, starting now, that doesn't make sense. Because
and Big D, I'd like to counterpoint with that. That's what practice is for. I mean, at a low level,
that's a different. You can't say, well, that's what practice is for, because practice is half the speed of the game. It's nowhere near the intensity of the game. So you can practice all you want. Game one of the playoffs, like Bacon just said, is a completely different animal. So you can sit there and practice and have all this time off, practice all you want under controlled, low hitting, half speed conditions. You're going to go into game one of the playoffs to get your head taken off.
That's what I'm saying. Don't rest players. I'm
saying
if a player's
one
legitimately hurt and they need a game or two, all right, you're okay. Rest a guy, rest 2 guys, not 6. And you gotta have that tempo heading into the playoffs. It's too tight, man. It's too tight.
Oh, I agree. What I'm not saying start now. What I'm saying is, if you're in the final game of the season and it means nothing in the standings, rest your players. Get them, make sure they have an extra day's rest to, heal just a little bit more, because right now everybody's playing hurt. There's nobody healthy in the league. Everybody's playing hurt. So give them an extra day's rest. If a game means nothing in the standings, it's one game, it doesn't stop the momentum of the team.
But would you do it the last game?
Yeah, why not?
Or the second last game? And let them get their legs back in the last game.
I would do it in the very last game, just to give them one more day of rest going into the playoffs.
So two points that come out of that, like the Bruins sitting at 119 points, they can rest for the rest of the week and not even be concerned if they lose every game.
Correct, but
nobody's catching up, and that's they're the anomaly in this situation, right? In a normal, take the Bruins out of the equation. In a normal situation, like Kay was saying, you rest. Let's say Tavares, for instance, right, taking that shot off the hand last night, goes back, shaking his hand, came back out and played. Maybe you say, hey, make sure it's okay. Take a game, whatever. The only problem I have with resting the last game of the season is, depending on when schedules finish, you might be resting for a week before your round starts.
Right. And here's the other thing. We're not young sprouts. You guys know as well as I do. You take time away, it takes you longer to get going. Boston is not a young team. They need to keep those legs moving. They no matter what it takes, they got to play. Or I'm telling you, now that we're heading in the East, I'm still not picking them to win the cup.
And because they're not a young team, that means they need the extra day's rest. If you have a young team that, like the Rangers team from last year, they were the kids.
Mhm.
They every round was 7 games basically, except for the finals. They didn't get tired because they're young kids. You have an older team like Boston that they can benefit from an extra day's rest going into the gauntlet that is the playoffs.
Okay, so we obviously have Boston as the President Trophy winners. No argument there. 8-2, they're still keeping an unbelievable pace. Maple Leafs 6-3-1. There's a team I still think is getting tired in Tampa, 4-5-1, and the Panthers sitting at 79 points. Hurricanes, Devils, Rangers. Hurricanes 103, Devils 100, Rangers 96. Those top 6 teams have been cemented since we've been talking for the past 2 months, I think.
Yep.
That the wild card is crazy. The Islanders at 83. The Penguins refuse to give up that second spot. Guys, if the Panthers lose in Ottawa tonight, are they done? They
It's
head into
getting tighter and
Toronto on
tighter.
Wednesday.
It's
I don't know,
tighter and
but
tighter.
I don't know if they're done, but if the Panthers lose in Ottawa tonight, Toronto clinches a spot guaranteed.
Well, we know Toronto's in. We know Tampa's in. That top 6 has been undisputed since, I swear, December.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
I don't know. The Panthers, they're I don't know, man. 79 points. Islanders sitting at 83, and you got the Sabres breathing down their neck at 76. And the Capitals and the Penguins at 82. So
the Sabres with their 3-5-2, they're -9 goals against. They didn't address their goaltending. I'm going to tell you the Sabres are out. They're great year, great climb. Ottawa wins tonight. I guess they got 77, but I still don't see it there. Chikrin's now hurt.
Yep, he's out.
The Panthers are the only hope. The Capitals have 76. But they're done.
The Capitals sold off at the trade deadline. Florida has had everything in the palm of their hands. They could have really made a surge, but then now they've lost 3 games in a row.
Was it Saturday or maybe it was last week? Anyway, the Leafs were there and they just laid Florida to waste. That would have never happened last year.
No, it was a I don't want to say an anomaly, but it kind of was par for the course the way Florida's been going this year. And it just, I don't know. I still see him maybe knocking on the door, but I don't know, man. It's going to be a tough road. Their last 10, even if they've got a mediocre schedule, it's not going to go well, I don't think.
And you're the goalie guy. They're asking Bobrovsky. They're asking Bobrovsky to play the last 12 games.
Yeah.
There ain't no.
They know they're on their last leg. That's why.
We're resting players. This is the time of year you want to throw your backup in once in a while.
Yeah. You want them to play. You want to get to a point where they can play at least 40% of the games remaining, to keep you fresh in the event that you're going to get that wild card spot. But I think that's Florida's only go-to. They got to put him in to make sure they can cement decent goaltending in order to let the other team off the leash, or let the forwards and D off the leash a little bit and take some chances. Because if they, the D pinch is too far up with the backup in, that's game over.
Yeah, I just don't believe in them. I have more faith in the Flames than I do in the Panthers right now. I'm sorry.
So are you saying that the wild card spots, in your opinion, are solidified between the Islanders and the Penguins? Because basically, we know Washington's done. Ottawa's not going anywhere. You said Buffalo was done, and they've been not playing well. And that just leaves Florida. If you think Florida's done, then the wild card slots are cemented.
But at the same point, we all know that Pittsburgh is down to their American League hockey defenseman, other than Chris Letang. But somehow they find a way to get it done.
They do find a way. But they're 4-5-1 in their last 10. but again, in the last 10, the Islanders are on a 2-game losing streak, and the Panthers are on a 3-game losing streak.
Well, I've
So-
never been a fan of the New York Islanders.
Not even in the Mike Bossy days.
Well, yeah, that's a different team with John and Dennis Potvin and Trottier and Nystrom. And yeah, that's a totally different era. But they've got a really, really, really good goalie.
Yeah.
But is that enough?
They're another unfortunate team, right? They're almost like the Panthers this year in that they've got good goaltending, and sometimes they don't play to their ability. Like it's frustrating to watch, but I don't know, man.
Still call it a crapshoot, Big B. I really don't.
I mean, well, if you live in New York, first of all, you bring up those old early 80s, late 70s Islanders teams. If you live here in New York and talk to any Islander fan, they think that's the greatest team to ever play the game of hockey ever. And this year, of course, Sorokin is the greatest goaltender ever and should win the Vezina hands down, according to every Islander fan.
He's really good.
He's good, but again, you talk to Islander fans, they think one little bit of success and they're the greatest ever.
Yeah.
So they're the only ones, the Islander fans are the only ones that have the true faith in the Islanders that they are going to make it. I've said, and I've continued to say, I'm not going to believe it until they clinch.
So I guess we're in agreement. This is a wide open race for the wild card.
As far as I'm concerned, yeah.
Yeah, it's really close between at least those three. Again, last week we counted Buffalo in there saying, yeah, Buffalo. And then they went 3-5-2.
Right.
So they really had a crappy week that didn't help our cause.
They're like the Leafs when the Leafs got beat by Washington in the first round of when Matthews and Marner and Nylander, they're a young team.
Absolutely.
They've got some great stuff, but they're not there yet.
Yeah, absolutely. They just need to. I don't say they need to learn to work together, but they need to feel each other out a bit more, right? Like you said, real young team. They've got all the talent to do it. It's just they really fell on a hard week. And I mean, maybe the next 10 games they play are, 7-2-1, maybe, or
you never know.
Who knows?
That's what the race is for. But are we willing to claim the Capitals and the Senators are out, even if the Senators win tonight?
Yeah, I've said the Capitals have been out for weeks. I mean, they sold off everything at the trade deadline. They're out. I think Ottawa is out as well.
Yeah.
That leaves Buffalo, Florida, and Pittsburgh, and the Islanders are in the wild card slots right now.
And nothing, guys. I just want to be clear about this. I know they're in our division. Nothing would make me happier than for Buffalo to finish 8th and beat Boston.
Yeah, I agree with you, B. The Caps, the Senators, and unless the Sabres have a miracle, they're going to need to win they're going to have to win at least 7 of the games. Pending Florida and the Islanders only winning 3 or 4. That's about the only way that it's going to work in their favor, and I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, I haven't updated. I didn't have a chance to update this. This is still last week. Where is Buffalo?
Well, Buffalo in their last 10 is 3-5-2.
No,
and 3 of those wins they're currently on a 2-game winning streak. So they've been bad in their last 10.
Oh yeah, they had a real rough week.
They still have Columbus, Flyers, Montreal, Detroit, and Ottawa.
I mean, they might be able to get. That's 4, maybe 4 wins at least.
Yeah.
Maybe a loss to Detroit, but pretty sure they'll beat Montreal. Probably beat the Flyers.
Columbus,
Ottawa, I think. Ottawa might be a tie, but who knows?
Detroit's overrated. They're a year away.
Yeah, I still think they can probably beat Buffalo though. It's not a terrible schedule, realistically, in their eyes, but I guess it just depends if Florida has an easier schedule than they do.
Right. And what the Islanders schedule looks like as well.
Yeah.
All right. So in consensus, Panthers, Sabres, Islanders, Penguins for 2 spots.
I think so. Yep.
And in consensus in the West, Jets, Predators, Kraken, Flames.
No.
Well, the Flames are closer than Buffalo.
Yeah,
but
I
they're a
think
mess.
the Jets,
and-
Seattle, and the Flames for me. I don't think the Predators are even in the discussion.
I don't think Calgary's in the discussion either. They're just a mess.
Although
to
I'll
me,
tell you,
Seattle
the
and
Predators,
to me, Seattle and
Predators-
Winnipeg are in unless something drastic happens.
the Predators, with every single person out, including Matt Duchene, who took a hit to the head or a puck to the head, whatever, he was gone. They looked good yesterday. They kept the Leafs 3-2. And the
Yeah,
Leafs were playing a hell of a game with their third string goalie in, who I wish was their backup.
Yeah, I was sorely disappointed in the Leafs this week because I needed a goal out of Marner and a goal out of Nylander Friday or Saturday. When did they played what, Thursday, I think, too? Wednesday, maybe. I needed 2 goals from those guys this week to get over top of you, and
you know who kept
do it.
scoring?
Everybody else scored except them.
You know
Friggin'
who
wish
kept
I had
scoring?
Tavares.
I don't have Tavares.
I wish I did, though.
I had Austin Matthews, who's getting hot at the right time of the year.
Yeah, he picked up 2 on
goals,
Thursday
man.
night.
If he hits 40, what a bad year he's having. Bullshit. He's the leading forward in blocking shots. His feet are moving fleetly. He's hitting people, and he's going to score 40 goals. I want him on my team. You sign him for whatever it costs. Never mind Mitch Marner and his little ballet down there on the ice.
Tell us how you really feel about Marner.
And is O'Reilly playing Wednesday? Does anyone have intel?
I haven't heard. I didn't see any updates today. I know Keefe had said last week he was real close to coming back. So I don't know. Maybe we find out tomorrow morning.
Craig Button, just before we might as well jump over. You know what we got to do is we got to do Vegas, and then we'll come back over and we'll do the water quote talk because I have another question.
Yeah, the birthday boy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jay Vegas on a bit of a slump. You want to talk about teams that are barely holding on to a wild card or any fleet of success and possibly blowing up next season? It's got to be Jay Vegas. Guys, I'm going to have you mute yourself. But we want to wish Jay a very happy birthday, number 50. The big 50 for Jay Vegas, and we're glad to have him on board. All right, guys.
Still waiting on that invite, Vegas, too, by the way.
Yeah, we're
the pictures from your party. It looked like it was fun.
He was getting spanked. I would have taken a baseball bat and hit his ass a few times for all the money he's lost us here on the show. But other than that, he's got a guarantee again this week. Apparently, him and Jimmy are going to be in Toronto when I'm up there. They don't have tickets or a hotel yet, so I'm not crossing my fingers. I do have both. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Jay Vegas and his pick of the week.
Hey folks, it's time for another edition of Jay Vegas's Pick of the Week here on Pucks and Pints Radio. Fell into a little bit of a trap last week. We were on the Grand Salami. I don't know if you remember, but we took the Grand Salami, which is the total score from all combined NHL games that night. We had the under 32.5, almost hit. We went into the final game. I believe, with 24 goals. We only had 24 goals going as long as there wasn't 9 goals in the final game. No, sorry, that's bad math. As long as there wasn't 7 goals in the final game, we were going to finally hit and break this 0-6 streak that we're on, but didn't happen that way. The final game of the night had over 7 goals. I believe it was actually 8 goals. We lost it by a half a goal, which puts us at 0-7, and now we are well below 500. So what we're going to do to get back to 500, I'm not going to take up much time here, folks. This type of bad streak, sometimes what you do, I'm going to do what I'm going to call a double shot this week, okay? It's called a double shot. Tonight, we're going to take the Ottawa Senators to win over the Florida Panthers. I call this a double shot because I think the Florida Panthers are going to take a double shot loss this week. So tonight, what you want to do is you want to lay money on the underdog. You're getting plus 120 on the Ottawa Senators over the Florida Panthers. And then on Wednesday night, we're going to take the Florida Panthers to lose again. 2 losses in a row for the Florida Panthers. Tonight to the Senators. Wednesday night to the Toronto Maple Leafs. This is a road trip for the Florida Panthers. And I think what you're going to find here is 2 losses is going to be a terrible road trip for the Florida Panthers. And they're going to lose 2 in a row. I know what you're thinking, Jay. I know right now you're saying to yourself, look, Jay, if you bet on the Globetrotters tomorrow, somehow the Washington Generals would pull off a win in overtime. And the way things are going lately, you're probably right. But we're turning things around this time, folks. What we're doing tonight, Ottawa Senators at plus 120. Not quite sure what odds you're going to get on the Leafs on Wednesday. The lines aren't out yet. You're probably going to pay a little bit of juice on the Leafs at home, but it's all going to equal out in the wash. You're probably going to get plus 120 when you take the Senators tonight, and you're probably going to get something like minus 120, minus 125 on the Leafs on Wednesday. That's going to be your J Vegas picks of the week to get us back to 500. Senators tonight over the Panthers. Leafs on Wednesday night over the Panthers. Let's try our best here, folks. Let's right this ship. Good luck. See you next week.
Didn't unmute quick enough there, folks. I apologize. We are still here, and thank you for sticking with us. I'd like to I'd like to call. You know, he calls it the Grand Salami. I'd like to say I just pulled the bacon.
Let me just give a really quick update before we move on, just so Bacon feels better. Montreal still has not been eliminated from the playoffs, so they have a chance.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's 1-1 in their game with Colorado, with Buffalo right now. So,
can they hit 4 or 5 though?
No.
And to Jay Vegas's point, calling Florida or Ottawa over Florida. I know the game is not even close to being over, but it's 1-0 Florida over Ottawa right now.
Yeah. Who knows? The guy's desperate. You can see he's desperate. Him and Jimmy are driving to Toronto without tickets because Jimmy told me that he wants to save his Molson tickets for the playoffs. I'm like, so you got no hotel and you got no tickets. Stay home.
So is he going to do scalp tickets when he gets there?
They go up as we speak. I was very fortunate. I got a really good deal on these tickets, and my God, the hotels up there are dear.
Oh yeah, we go up every summer for my daughter's travel softball, and even then, baseball season, it's what you'd pay down here for $150, $160 is $300, $400, $500 a night.
It's ridiculous. Big B, by the way, speaking of baseball, I don't mean to get off topic because we got to keep things rolling here. We got 10 minutes and we got Mike Jolitz still.
Yep.
You were talking about that hot dog that you had at the show you went and watched.
The Philly cheesesteak hot dog at the Impractical Jokers. Yeah.
Oh my God, that sounds good.
Well, if you listen to Cape Crew Radio, you'd know exactly what it was, Bacon. It goes to show where your loyalty is. Anyway,
I'm 2 shows behind.
I read today on Sportsnet or Tim and Friends, whatever it was, the Blue Jays for $9, which is a pretty dear price for a hot dog.
Yeah.
The Blue Jays for $9 are going to have a poutine hot dog.
And that's French fries and gravy, basically, right?
Well, I
And
don't
cheese
know if the
curds.
fries are on there, but it's got the gravy and the curds.
Oh, I thought.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought poutine was French fries with gravy and
And
whatever
cheese
else.
curds from
Cheese
Quebec.
curds.
Okay. So
I
they're gonna
would
have
I would spend $9 for that hot dog.
Yeah, but like Big B said when he was watching the show in Brooklyn, or Long Island, wherever
Long
he was.
Island, yeah.
Yeah, that's a messy. When I'm sitting at the,
Yeah.
I have a hard enough time with the mustard dripping out when I'm at a sporting event. Like,
Right.
That's
You
true.
really don't take into account the logistics of sitting in a seat, squished like this, eating this monstrous hot dog with stuff falling off of it.
right?
It's true. That's very true.
I,
Here's so I because we're so close to Detroit, we go over and watch the Wings game sometimes. My favorite thing at the Wings game is the Coney Island pizza.
Mm.
Little Caesars over there.
Or
It's
the
a Little Caesars
pizza.
personal pizza. You know, it's about like a small basically, and it's got instead of pizza sauce, they use Coney sauce from the Coney dogs,
Yeah.
and then they cut up hot dogs and they put onions and mustard on it, and it's a Coney pizza, and it is the best thing I've ever ate at second best thing at a sporting event.
Well, we also get the Little Caesars pizza because you can bring the pizza there. And that's an easy at your seat. Something exciting happens, you jump up. You might get a pepperoni on the guy in front of you. You're not going to get half the sauce off your hot dog.
The difference with the Coney pizza is they use. If you've ever had a Coney dog over there,
Oh, they're the best.
it's the same chili, like the same. So instead of pizza sauce, it's Coney sauce.
It's not the same as getting it from Coney Island. Just so
No,
you
it's
know.
not.
that's good.
No, absolutely, it's not. Absolutely, it's not.
Detroit Coney Island is famous.
Yeah.
It's the worst looking chili you ever seen in your life, but God, is it
Oh.
good?
But is it good? Oh yeah. So here's a challenge for you this week that you need to report next Friday on, or next Monday. Sorry. When you go to the Leafs game, you need to find the messiest food item they sell, and take a picture of you eating it in your seat.
In your
Oh, my
seat. Right.
Austin Matthews jersey? Are you freaking crazy?
Go
Come
buy
on,
your,
live a bit.
Look, I know you've been dying to buy yourself a Mitch Marner jersey. Go buy yourself one at the Leaf store,
There
put
you
it
go.
on, get the messiest food you can at Maple Leafs Arena, whatever the frick it's called, and eat it at your seat with your Mitch Marner jersey loud and proud on your shoulders.
For the
I got
last time, ladies and gentlemen, if you did not know, and I can't put the camera over there, but there is a Mitch Marner autographed jersey framed in glass over on the wall.
It's a minor
Over
league
here.
jersey. It doesn't count.
I'll tell you. Here's what you need to do. I like Big B's idea. However, there's one even better.
Mhm.
You switch jerseys with Isbia, and you say, "I just need to wear this just for a minute."
John Tavares jersey.
You
She's
say,
got
I just need to wear this for a minute, and then you go get this crazy, messy whatever, and then you eat it, and then you run out real quick and take it off and give it back to her. Don't tell her there's anything on it. Just give it back to her, and then put yours on and just sit there like nothing happened.
Okay, but Isbia's John Tavares jersey is, what do they call those things? It's like a spank.
Like Spanx.
It will show off your glorious figure.
You can maybe roll it up and wear it like a crop top. You get some hoops and haul the guys behind you.
I haven't
There's
had a
nothing like
glorious
a Maple
figure.
Leaf crop top jersey.
I haven't had a glorious figure in 15 years. Maybe longer. No, I did say to Jake though, because I'm very hard on certain players on that team, and one player I have not been hard on, and I really, really feel bad for him, is Willie Nylander. And Jake has a Nylander and a Riley shirt, and I was like, if you're not wearing the Nylander, I'm wearing the Nylander because we got to get this boy back where we need him. He's in a little bit of a slump. He's got some funk going on, but I know he scored the other night. But I will not pick on Willie. I'll pick on.
Yeah. I think it's, I don't know.
The cows come home.
I think that's a good project for a show for next season. Is we go to a game in our respective areas. You know, whether you go to Toronto, B, you go to the Rangers, I'll go to the Detroit.
Oh yeah, give me the expensive tickets. Thank you.
Well, I mean, you go to more Leaf games. Well, I guess it doesn't matter which way we go, but I'm I'll even go down to Columbus but get the messiest item you can find, and rate it and get pictures
Or how about this?
Yeah.
I'd do that.
How about this? Next season or in the off season when there's nothing to talk about, we go on their menu board and
That's a good idea.
each create one item a week and eat it on there.
Oh, I like that idea. That's a good one.
So, like if Vegas has whatever, we choose it. We all create our own and we'll eat it on there. I don't know. We're picking at stars. We got to give Mike Jolitz a piece of the pie here, ladies.
Literally.
Mike Jolitz, and then I'm not eating messy food at a hockey game. I refuse to do it.
I guess a good question for Jolitz as well is the food in the Arizona Baby Arena. Does it taste like sadness?
I don't know.
Wow.
We got to get him to go there. He's really close.
Now it's time for Sports Minute with Mike Jolitz.
Hello, Pucks and Pints. How are you guys doing today? Hello to Coach K, hello to Sir Big B, and hello to you as well, Bacon. Yes, guys, it is now time for the Sports Minute. Alrighty, guys, here we go. It's going to be fast and furious today. Tyler Reddick won the NASCAR race yesterday after 3 green-white checkers. He beat Kyle Busch. It was his 4th Cup Series win. Less than 2 weeks until arena football starts up again. The Arizona Rattlers play the Tucson Sugar Skulls on April the 8th. Yeah, Tucson Sugar Skulls. Baseball spring training resumed play, and the Diamondbacks tied the Brewers 4-4 on Sunday. Hey, at least the D-backs didn't lose. The St. Louis Cardinals, on the other hand, didn't just lose. They got decimated by the Houston Astros 24-1. They had to sting just a little bit. And one more quick little story. It's a tidbit, if you will. Aaron Rodgers is still a Packer. Yawn. So tired of it. All right, guys. That does it for the Sports Minutes. And I'll be back next week with some more. I hope it was a good show for you guys. And tschüss, ciao, and auf Wiedersehen, everybody. Later, bye-bye.
All right, boys, we're at that point. Quickly around the horn. Final thoughts. Big B.
I'm looking forward to the playoffs. Rangers are gelling. The new players are gelling with their lines. Power play looks good. I'm looking forward to the playoffs.
Bacon.
Yep, I can echo that sentiment. I feel bad. I fell asleep watching the LA game last night. I was excited to see it because I was on the verge of having a couple players playing to beat you, and I remember turning it on, and then I woke up at like 4 a.m. with the TV blaring and scared the crap out of me. So.
And so you woke up to Benny Hinn.
I don't know what it was. It was something. It was just nonsense. I couldn't tell you what it is right now, but I know it wasn't hockey. So
that's good.
Yeah, I can tell you that much. It wasn't hockey. The only other showdown I got is to this jersey right here. We finished our season this year. To the kids that played for me this year, I mean, we got second. It was a great game. And you guys played your hearts out, and I hope I get a chance to get you all again next year.
And by the way, a new profile picture for Bacon on Pucks and Pints Radio.
Right, courtesy of my wife.
Check it out. Good picture. All right, ladies and gentlemen, all I got is I am super pumped. Got a long day of work tomorrow, but I'm heading to the Big Smoke on Wednesday and finally getting to see my Leafs home game against what should be a very hungry Florida Panthers team. And I will try not to get kicked out of the arena yelling at one of the to Chuck Brothers, who I absolutely can't.
Where are your seats? Are you in
way
TV range?
No. I guess if they swoop up. A great thing about where I am, I'm in like section 301, I think it is, and I can see everything. Not close at all, but the way it hangs over the private boxes it's a really good seat. I can't afford lower level.
Oh yeah, they're nuts.
Yeah.
We had a friend that she bought her husband tickets a few years ago, and the price they paid was astronomical.
Yeah, and I mean it's good money, but it's not bad. And we'll have. It's just the atmosphere.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, you go to Red Wing games or Buffalo or Columbus, like you said. Always a good turnout for the Leafs, but it's like a half and half. It's just a sea of blue. If there's one or two Panther jerseys inside that place, I'll be shocked.
And I'm sure it's the same for you, B. You go to a Rangers game, at the Gardens, and it's like, you might see, admittedly, you might see 100 of the other team's fans getting just amassed by Rangers fans. Like it's just,
for sure. Unless it's a Islander or Devil game.
Oh, obviously, because that's close enough.
A lot more
within an hour or whatever. But yeah.
For the most part, when you go to a Ranger game, there's a small section of opposing fans. Otherwise, it's all Rangers.
I remember it was last year or the year before, but I just remember walking up there before the game. And I'm like, this is heaven.
Yep.
I'm in a safe place. I mean, in Detroit, it's 50-50. You're still.
I think it's even, depending on the time of year you go and when the Leafs are playing, it's sometimes even 60-40 Leaf fans.
Yeah. There's nothing more fun than let's go Red Wings, go Leafs, go. But it is fun. But you're in there and you're seeing their stupid Jumbotron, Dylan Larkin shit.
Admittedly, they do have a nice arena, though.
It's
that
beautiful.
New arena is
gorgeous.
gorgeous.
I go there at least twice a year, but I love Little Caesars Arena.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
But there's nothing like going home. And you're almost like a bunch of like stormtroopers because there's not one person there that's not wearing a blue jersey.
Yeah. And it's funny, it kind of hits you in the heart a bit. You almost wish for the old Maple Leaf Gardens days.
Yeah. Oh, that was another rink. But
we gotta get up. We gotta get up Big B's way and go to a Rangers game.
Oh, I'd love to go to Madison Square Gardens.
Rangers, Maple Leafs.
I'd go Rangers anybody, to be honest.
I just love to go to that arena. I'd love to see professional wrestling in that arena.
Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed the show. Subscribe to our YouTube channel now and make sure you never miss another upload.
This is Pucks and Pints.